Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts about the 40K universe. I am your host Gershwan and you are watching One Mind Syndicate. Today we continue with the Black Crusade as we get into Black Crusade number 10 through 12. So let's get into 40 facts about the Black Crusades. In the 10th Black Crusade, also known as the Conflict of Helica, Abaddon forged a dark alliance between the Black Legion and the Iron Warriors, making a deal with the Demon Primarch Perturabo. In exchange for Abaddon's agreeing to settle a debt for vengeance against the Iron Hands, Perturabo opened an ancient warp route out of the Eye of Terror for the Despoiler's Black Fleet to pass through. The passage, calculated over several agonizing months by the tortured machine spirits of a chain of enslaved cognitors, allowed Abaddon's forces to steal past the layers of defenses of the Cadian Gate and into the Helica subsector. Abaddon employed a carefully planned deception, sending the Black Legion fleet against Thracia Primus, the capital world of Helica, while he attacked elsewhere. The Despoiler also scattered his warlords across the sector, and on scores of planets, the traitor vessels thundered down, killing many Imperial citizens. While his warlords indulged themselves in the slaughter of Imperial worlds, Abaddon traveled with the Iron Warriors to Medusa System, the volcanic homeworld of the Iron Hand Space Marine chapter. From the ancient flagship Vengeful Spirit, Abaddon watched as the Iron Warriors laid siege to the Loyalist chapter. In a war of attrition, the Iron Warriors systematically assaulted the outer world of the Medusa System, tearing down the Loyalist defenses one by one. In the burning light of their ruined fortifications, the Iron Hands struggled to hold back the traitors, buying time for their support companies to arrive. Before the bulk of the Iron Hands and their Imperial allies could arrive, Abaddon and his Iron Warriors retreated, leaving hundreds of dead Loyalist Space Marines in their wake. Though Medusa still stood as an Imperial bulwark, Abaddon had learned much about its defenses and the Iron Hands themselves, both of which he would put to good use later. At the outset of the 11th Black Crusade, Abaddon bound a demon of Tzeentch within the oculus of his vessel, hoping to find a path through the tumultuous warp storms around the Eye of Terror into Imperial space. Tormented with impossible riddles and twisting falsehoods, the demon was driven completely insane, leading Abaddon thousands of light years off course. The demon tore into its own substance in the vortex of madness, bending time and space around the fleet. Abaddon's warships were scattered across the void of real space. Undaunted by the failure of his demonic navigator, Abaddon let loose his Black Legion upon the nearest planet, the Imperial Cardinal world of Reloria. Descending on Reloria, the traitors encountered a rival for their prize, an Orc Wa, led by warlord Morgwark Underteeth. In a vicious and chaotic three-sided war, demons and orcs ripped each other apart in the burning ruins of Reloria's vast reflectionary towers. Abaddon used this chance encounter with the orcs to conduct unspeakable experiments with demons and alien creatures, attempting to fuse the material and the immaterial together into some new manner of horror that can be inflicted upon the forces of the Emperor. Fascinated by the psychic link between the orcs and their instinctive use of warp energy, Abaddon took thousands of the green-skinned Xenos back with him into the Eye of Terror to continue his research. The Black Legion eventually retreated from Reloria, leaving the battered survivors of humanity to defend themselves against the remaining orcs. While the vast majority of the Imperium of Man's defenses around the Eye of Terror warp rift in the northwestern reach of the galaxy are based in an area known as the Cadian Gate, there are many Imperial monitoring stations scattered throughout the Segmentum Obscurus. These outposts are constantly raided and attacked by various forces of Chaos Gods, but during the 2nd century of the 41st millennium, the number of assaults dramatically increased. The most important of these attacks that served as the prelude to the horrors that were soon to come was the assault on the Imperial Watch Station on the world of Arx. Due to its low strategic importance, Arx was inhabited by only a small garrison of Imperial Guard, which was tasked with protecting the few tech adepts of the Adeptus Mechanicus, who were needed to maintain and operate the station's observation equipment. Early in the 139th year of the 41st millennium, the Imperial Navy scout frigate Ascendance received a telepathic plea for help from the Heroclix station's elderly astropath. The identity of the attackers was unknown, and when reinforcement arrived, a full 4 months later, there was no sign of the raiders. The Imperial guardmen stationed on the planet had been wiped out, and their bodies had been horrifically mutilated and left to be devoured by the wild dogs that were Heroclix's only true predators. The Inquisition sent one of its agents, the experienced Inquisitor Heroclix, to Arx to investigate the matter, but there was little evidence left for him to sift through. If Arx would have been the only outpost attacked during this time, the raid would have become just another unknown in a galaxy filled to bursting with enigmas. Yet over the next 3 years, a number of similar attacks were reported throughout the neighboring star systems, and then spread into the adjacent subsectors. Inquisitor Heroclix suspected that some large plot against the Imperium was in motion, yet he could not find evidence to support this well-honed instinct, or identify the nature of the attackers, so he decided to watch and wait for this canny enemy of the Emperor to make his next move. In the 140th year of the 41st millennium, several Imperial patrol vessels made grisly discoveries in the Athena sector. A number of Imperial merchant starships and warships, one of them an Emperor-class battleship, were discovered to be drifting through the void uncontrolled. Upon being boarded, it was learned that the crews of all these ships were dead, their stinking, disease-ridden corpses strewn along corridors and control panels, some still manning their stations. Each starship also bore the scars of weapon fire and a brief space battle, as well as signs of being boarded, though none of the enemy dead could be found. Inquisitor Heroclix puzzled over these developments, while his acolytes and spies brought him more news. A rumor had spread among the vessels of the Imperial Navy in the Segmentum that the attacks were being carried out by an ancient Chaos warship called the Black Claw, a vessel whose diseased followers were dedicated body and soul to Nurgle, the Plague Lord, and had been attacking Imperial shipping for close to 4,000 Terran years. The infection of the decimated ship's crew and the reappearance of the Plague Claw were no coincidence, a reality which became all the clearer when the Death Guard Traitor Legion, the Chaos Space Marine dedicated to Nurgle, sacked the hive world of Morgengast. Horst became convinced that the forces of Chaos were planning another massive incursion against the Imperium, united as Chaos Undivided. The watch posts around the Cadian gates were put on high alert, and Imperial Navy warships from all over the Segmentum Obscurus were ordered to defend the space around Cadia. While Inquisitor Heroclix investigated the chaotic activity around Arx and its neighboring star systems, events turned even more sinister in the Gothic sector. 2,500 light-years from Arx, the navigators of the Navi Nobilite reported great disturbances, more than usual within the warp. On many worlds in the sector, this news was received with panic, a situation made even more precarious by several religious fanatics declaring that the Emperor was displeased and was sending warp storms to purge the sinful. A number of new hardline religious sects formed, their adherents stricken with the feelings of impending apocalypse. They were desperate for the Emperor's forgiveness and began to flagellate themselves and demand that their friends and neighbors purge themselves of their sins in the sight of the God Emperor. On many planets in the Gothic sector, these cults became very politically powerful, swelling by popular support to such a degree that the ecclesiarchy could not stop the rampaging mobs of hysterical flagellants. As the religious hysteria spread, lynch mobs roamed hive cities and mining colonies alike, seeking the impure. Impromptu burnings and hangings became common as the desperately fearful citizens threw themselves into a fever of abandon, scouring their friends and loved ones to atone for real or imagined sins against the Emperor. Yet all was not to avail, As the warp continued to become more active, the frequency of warp storms and its intensity continued to grow. Under the cover of this widespread paranoia and the religious excess, secret cults and covenants insinuated themselves into position of power, subverting ever more people to their dark cause. Misguided followers of the ruinous powers openly proclaimed that the Chaos Gods would save humanity when the Emperor had turned from them. Thousands, even millions of desperate imperial citizens were deluded by this false promise, flocking to these cults, and the Inquisition Ordo Hereticus was hard-pressed to root out every Chaos cultist. To make matters worse, several Imperial Navy vessels were destroyed in the dock by plasma reactor overloads and magazine explosions. Though official reports declare the incident to be an accident, many believed that the tales of sabotage and rebellion within the Navy was true. While the Gothic sector was being engulfed in anarchy, religious strife, and confusion, Inquisitor Horks was searching for more clues to the plans of the heretics. When he heard of a chaotic attack on the Imperial world of Purgatory, he chose to accompany the investigating Imperial fleet. There was one thing which made Purgatory different from a dozen of other chaotic raids in the region: the device known as the Hand of Darkness. The Hand of Darkness, its existence was known only to a few of the most trusted members of the Inquisition, for the Hand of Darkness was an incredibly ancient alien artifact located deep beneath the planet's surface of Purgatory. And those were 40 facts about the Black Crusade. We have finally got to the 12th Black Crusade, which is a huge Black Crusade. This is going to be a story told in, I believe, 2 parts. So please subscribe to the channel to find out what this awesome artifact is all about. The Hand of Darkness. So subscribe to the channel if you're already a subscriber. Stay tuned because tomorrow you're going to get to find out what this artifact is. Thank you guys so much for liking, commenting, and sharing. Because of you guys, we continue to put out awesome lore video every single day. And I'll catch you in the next one. This was Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate signing out.